Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, probably wherever you are in the world. We are back again. हमारा annual event of Agile PK, the ACP, that's going to happen on 6th of March. उसी के सिलसिले की एक और कड़ी हमने पिछला अपना एक वेबिनार किया था जिसमें हमने तमाम एजाइल पीके के जिम्मेदारान इस एनुअल इवेंट के पीछे जो लोग हैं उनके साथ एक गपशप की एंड वी वर वेरी थैंकफुल टू यू टू स्पेंड सम टाइम ओवर द वीकेंड एंड सेंडिंग अस योर क्वेरीज। आज का जो हमारा सिलसिला है किसी भी प्रोग्राम को, किसी भी कॉन्फ्रेंस को, किसी भी इवेंट को कामयाब बनाने के लिए जो सबसे कलीदी किरदार अदा करती है एक तो वो टीम होती है। इसके अलावा वो स्पॉन्सर्स होते हैं जो उस इवेंट को कामयाब बनाने में एक बहुत अहम किरदार अदा करते हैं। तो आज की जो हमने महफिल सजाई है, जो एजाइल पीके का ये वेबिनार है जिसमें मीसम अब्बास मैं आपकी खिदमत में हाजिर हुआ हूँ। हमने अपने तमाम स्पॉन्सर्स को जो कि टाइटेनियम कैटेगरी के हैं, रिस्पेक्टेबल स्पॉन्सर्स को मदऊ किया। हमने सोचा कि ज़रा उनसे भी सुनना चाहिए, उनसे भी जानना चाहिए कि वो हमारे साथ कई सालों से ये मुसाफ़त तय करते आए हैं, इस इवेंट को सक्सेसफुल करते चले आए हैं। तो क्यों ना उनको भी मदऊ किया जाए और उनसे कुछ गुफ्तगू की जाए। तो आज हमारे साथ पैनल में मौजूद हैं उवैस हबीब साहब। उवैस हबीब साहब इज़ द चीफ ऑपरेटिंग ऑफिसर ऑफ टीपीएस। वेलकम टू द शो उवैस भाई।
जी जी, अस्सलाम वालेकुम मैडम।
वालेकुम अस्सलाम। इसके अलावा हमारे साथ बिलाल साहब मौजूद हैं। बिलाल साहब इज़ रिप्रेजेंटिंग कॉन्टूर सॉफ्ट एज ही इज़ वर्किंग एज एन एमडी देयर। अस्सलाम वालेकुम बिलाल साहब, कैसे हैं आप?
वालेकुम ईसम, क्या हाल है आप?
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह जी। इसके अलावा हमें ज्वाइन किया है ज़ीशान आफ्ताब साहब ने। ही इज़ द को फाउंडर एंड द सीईओ ऑफ 10 पर्ल्स। कैसे हैं ज़ीशान साहब? अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
जी वालेकुम सलाम, बहुत अच्छे हैं आप, कैसे हैं जनाब?
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह। लास्ट बट नॉट द लीस्ट, इस वक्त अहमद जवाद साहब से हमारा राब्ता नहीं हो पा रहा। ही इज़ ऑल्सो part of this event today, this webinar today, and he would be representing MTBC. And last but not the least, the host of this event happening in Karachi, we have with us Mr. Umair Khalid Saab, the president of Islamabad HLPK Karachi chapter. कैसे हैं उमैर आप? आप म्यूट पे उमैर।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम मिसम, हाउ आर यू?
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह जी। सो उमैर साहब, कराची जीत रहा है फिर, मैच बड़ा कांटेदार चल
जी
रहा है, कैसे
बिल्कुल
बात?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, कराची पीएसएल में भी जीत रहा है और इंशाल्लाह ACP21 में भी जीतेगा।
Yeah, we hope
इंशाल्लाह।
and we pray for that as well. ये खैर पीएसएल में तो हम सभी पाकिस्तानी टीम्स को सपोर्ट करते हैं। बाय द वे मैं बड़े दिल से सपोर्ट क्वेटा को करता हूँ, तो मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा कि मैं कराची को करूँ कि इस्लामाबाद को करूँ। Anyways, so thanks for all of you to spend some time to sacrifice your weekend. I guess हफ्ते का दिन बड़ा इंसान फैमिली के साथ गुजारना चाहता है, पर हमने आपको थोड़ी जहमत दी। So for our audience, I would request Awais Habib Saab, starting from you, if you can briefly introduce your company, ताकि थोड़ा सा हमारे ऑडियंस को इसका इल्म हो कि टीपीएस क्या है, कॉन्टूर सॉफ्ट क्या है, 10 पर्ल्स क्या है। अवैस भाई।
जी जी, बिल्कुल। अच्छा, TPS is basically started off as a software company, and we call ourselves a mature fintech because TPS has been in the space of cards and payment systems for the last 25 years. So we started way back in 1996. So in 2021, we are almost 25 years of age. The term fintech was actually coined way back in, I think, 2005, 2006. But before that, we were into that particular space. So Alhamdulillah, we are a product-based company, and we have a large clientele in Pakistan as well as outside Pakistan in Middle East and in Africa. So I would safely say that around 80 to 85% of all financial transactions that are going through in Pakistan are passing through our systems, whether it is the cash withdrawal from the ATMs, whether it is the bill payments that you do on your mobile phones, or internet banking, or through any other app, or you do any IBFTs or fund transfers. So all those consumer to consumer, business to business, business to consumer, government to person and person to government, all those payments which are flowing through the entire Pakistan is actually passing through our systems. So we have been part of the architect of this entire ecosystem in Pakistan, which is processing all those transactions. Apart from Pakistan, I think we have I think we have customers in around 30 countries around the globe. And what we say is that we carry the flag of Pakistan in all those countries. So whether is it Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Oman, Qatar, Bahrain. So we have, and even in Africa, we normally target the growing and the emerging markets. We don't venture into the Americas and the Europes because it's for us it's a very mature, it's a very saturated market for us. So what we do is that we try to replicate the achievements and success that we had in Pakistan. We go to Bangladesh, we go to other countries, we go to Africa, and we try to replicate the success that we had in Pakistan to other countries. So primarily, we are a software company. We are very much focused towards the payment systems. Our majority of our clients are banks, telcos, third-party processors like OneLink and all those schemes. And this is our forte for the last 25 years. And Alhamdulillah, we have seen a lot of success both in Pakistan and outside Pakistan, purely as a Pakistani company.
Perfect, Ji. So you are celebrating a silver jubilee. Congratulations.
Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. And I would say 25 years of success because I think we have seen a very, very turbulent times. The company started in 1996, and then we had this 1999 that we had that dot-com bubble, and then Pakistan actually went with atomic explosion that actually
Yes.
put a lot of sanctions on Pakistan. Then I think in 2001 we had that the Musharraf took over the country, and again there was a lot of turmoil. And I think one of the biggest challenge that we face as a Pakistani company is a perception that we carry as a Pakistani company. And I think our target and our objective is to create that positive image of Pakistan across the world that we go to. And Alhamdulillah, we are trying to do as much as possible in our capacity.
Absolutely, G. I guess, and this is what our theme or our ambition is to promote the positive image of Pakistan that the world might have not seen or might have seen a little less about it. So, moving to Bilal Saab, sir, I would request you to introduce us with for our audience who is Contour Soft, what they do.
Thank you so much. So Contour Software is closing in on about 11 years of existence. We are, mashallah, say the only full-featured global center serving our parent company. Our parent company is one of the two largest Canadian software companies, and we are a global conglomerate of industry-specific enterprise software solution companies. So there are more than 600 plus acquisitions uh, performed globally since 1995 when the company was founded. And for 3 years in a row, 2017, 2018, 2019, we've been recognized as the top acquirer of software companies globally. So these are, industry-specific enterprise systems in agri-food, in asset management, in financial services, in marine, in people transportation, utilities. So public and private sector companies of all sorts run on our systems. Country clubs run on our systems. Oil and gas companies run on our systems. Municipal governments run on our systems. Even uh, jails and district attorney offices in the United States run on these systems. So the Pakistan entity has, we started off as an offshore development center, and slowly but surely we grew into what we would call a global center because we have staff here serving all sorts of requirements fully embedded into these business units globally. And mashallah, so we started this year as a 1,000 employee organization. We started back in August 2010 with a dozen people, and as of right now, we are about 1,050 people. 200 more positions to fill at the moment, and looking to bring more and more jobs to Pakistan. And as of a couple of years ago, we also got approval to start looking into acquiring companies in Pakistan, and are actually currently engaged with one or two companies towards that goal.
Great. I mean, that's quite diversified kind of a portfolio that Contour is running. And thanks for the introduction. So, moving towards Ishan Saab, sir, a few words about Tenper so the audience can better understand, better know about this company.
Thank you, Misam. So, my name is Ishan. We started this company in 2004. It was a humble beginning. We started with just one person from our 7 quarters in our apartment, and it's we used to be a small marketing solutions company, and we sort of migrated and graduated from from small company from small mindset to a large enterprise solution company. Currently, we have a team of about 700 plus people, and we are one of the top software exporters from Pakistan. Our customers include large organizations like Coca-Cola, Johnson, National Geographic, Discovery, etc. And our focus has been on emerging technologies. Um, our we apart so we are a full service company, starting from offer services starting from strategy, user experience design, discovery sessions, and then offering software development, not as an outsourced provider, but as a solution company that can offer services onshore, offshore, as well as hybrid. So we have a very large team in the US, about 100 plus people as well. And most of our customers choose us because not we are not an offshore company, but because we are a solutions company that help them that understand the problem and not trying to push a particular solution. Apart from that, we run a number of non-profits like Temple University, which is an initiative to sort of give back. We over 5,000 people have been trained from Temple University using different courses, and they have learned and they've been able to secure jobs at other organizations as well. We also are a proponent of women in tech, and we have the largest female employee base in Pakistan, and in tech. And we do a non-profit called Empower Foundation, which is focused on women, children, and children. So we do a lot of work.
Great, G. I mean, that's pretty much a fantastic journey that you had carried. और एक बड़े छोटे से सेटअप से स्टार्ट करके टर्न आउट टू बी अ वेरी बिग बिग कंपनी माशाल्लाह। उमैर साहब, आपकी क्या तासुरात हैं? आई मीन यू हैव बीन एबल टू ग्रैब very big names in of the industry as a sponsor, and everyone is supporting and I'm quite excited as well. So how you see, I mean, things are turning out to be चंद ही दिनों की मतलब हफ्ता ही रह गया है इस एनुअल इवेंट के अंदर। क्या फील कर रहे हैं? हाउ डू यू सी दिस?
थैंक यू मिसम, क्वाइट एक्साइटेड आई थिंक। बल्कि मैं तो ये तमाम स्पॉन्सर्स को होस्ट करना पसंद करता, प्रेफर करता, लेकिन आज आपने मुझे गेस्ट बना के बिठा दिया है, तो चलें, लेट मी शेयर माय थॉट्स एंड एक्सप्रेशंस। आई थिंक ईयर बैक जब हमने ये डिसीजन लिया था इन द नेशनल बोर्ड के, जब कि हमें एजाइल कॉन्फ्रेंस पाकिस्तान कराची लेकर आनी है, उस वक्त तक पेंडेमिक नहीं आया था, लॉकडाउन नहीं हुआ था, and it actually at that time also it was a difficult decision because 6 साल से बड़े successfully इस्लामाबाद की टीम इसको ऑर्गेनाइज कर रही थी। कराची की टीम रिलेटिवली न्यू थी, हम टीम बिल्डिंग के प्रोसेस से भी गुजर रहे थे, चैप्टर इतना ज्यादा मेच्योर नहीं था, इतना ज्यादा एस्टेब्लिश नहीं था, बट इट वाज अ बोल्ड डिसीजन। उसके बाद आइसिंग ऑन द केक ये हुई कि फिर उसके बाद पेंडेमिक भी आ गया, और फिर डिफरेंट इस तरह के फैक्टर्स, सिचुएशन इस तरह की अराइज हो गई जहां पर हमारे लिए सिचुएशन और ज्यादा चैलेंजिंग हो गई। So the reason I value these sponsors so much is because there is much more than the marketing mileage and the marketing objectives and the materialistic goals uh, these sponsors have set for themselves. क्योंकि उस टाइम में जब ज्यादातर कंपनीज सर्वाइवल का सोच रही थी, सिचुएशन इतनी ज्यादा अनसर्टेन थी, बहुत सारी कंपनीज ने अपने मार्केटिंग के बजट्स कट डाउन किए, एंड इट वाज वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू सेल दिस इवेंट, फिजिकल इवेंट के जहां पर हमें लॉजिस्टिक्स रिक्वायर्ड होंगी, जबकि इंडस्ट्री के अंदर बहुत सारे इवेंट्स या तो पोस्टपोन हो गए थे, कैंसिल हो गए थे, या फिर ऑनलाइन जा चुके थे। At that time, supporting this event and the society I think it was a difficult decision, and उसके अंदर अगर इनकी इमोशनल अटैचमेंट नहीं होती तो आई डोंट थिंक कि सिर्फ मार्केटिंग माइलेज के लिए ये डिसीजन किसी भी तरह से लॉजिकली इन बड़ी कंपनीज की तरफ से लिया जा सकता था, क्योंकि एट दैट मोमेंट इतना ज्यादा इनको जरूरत नहीं थी, क्योंकि इनकी मोस्टली मार्केट जो है वो कुछ कंपनीज की पाकिस्तान से बाहर होती हैं, कुछ कंपनीज ऐसी हैं जो जिनकी कराची में एग्जिस्टेंस ही नहीं थी. But more than their marketing objectives, they thought about the society. They thought about giving back to the community. They thought about the development and the agile awareness in the community, which tells के कितनी ज़्यादा realization है इस चीज़ की among the circles के पाकिस्तान की इंडस्ट्री में एजाइल की adoption को कितना ज़्यादा कस्टमाइज करने की ज़रूरत है और उसकी नीड्स को समझने की ज़रूरत है. आई थिंक. और फिर सबसे अच्छी चीज ये कि जब हमने अपनी थीम सोची फ्यूचर ऑफ वर्क के बारे में, तो उसके अंदर भी हमें बड़ा एक इंकरेजिंग रिस्पांस मिला, जिससे ये भी पता चलता है कि द कंपनीज आर थिंकिंग अबाउट द फ्यूचर, दे आर थिंकिंग प्रोग्रेसिवली rather than just sticking to what they are doing. So I really appreciate, I'm really grateful to these sponsors जिन्होंने एक difficult time के अंदर difficult decision लिया और इस इवेंट को सपोर्ट किया, एंड वी हैव कम अ लॉन्ग वे एंड वी आर जस्ट अ वीक अवे. नॉट जस्ट दीज स्पॉन्सर्स, मैं बल्कि हाईलाइट करना चाहूंगा कि हमारे कुछ और स्पॉन्सर्स भी हैं जो आज हमारे शो का पार्ट नहीं है बिकॉज ऑफ द टाइम रिस्ट्रिक्शंस एंड द अदर फैक्टर्स, बट दे हैव आल्सो बीन वेरी सपोर्टिव. इसके अलावा इंडस्ट्री के अंदर बहुत सारी कम्युनिटीज ऐसी हैं, पाकिस्तान इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ मैनेजमेंट, पाकिस्तान प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजमेंट इंस्टीट्यूट, NIC कराची, और शायद मैं सबके नाम नहीं ले सकूंगा अभी, पाशा. तो इस तरह की बहुत सारी कम्युनिटीज ऐसे हैं जिन्होंने हमें बहुत ज्यादा ओवरवेलमिंग इसमें रिस्पॉन्स दिया है, एंड आई एम वेरी ग्रेटफुल टू देम, एंड आई एम ऑल्सो ग्रेटफुल टू माई टीम, माई बोर्ड मेंबर्स, कराची बोर्ड मेंबर्स. उन्होंने बहुत ज्यादा एक्टिव रोल प्ले किया है. दे वर ऑलवेज फुल ऑफ एडवाइजेस, आइडियाज. और ऑब्वियसली इसके अंदर अगर हमारे पास इस्लामाबाद और नेशनल टीम की सपोर्ट ना होती तो शायद जो एक्सपीरियंस उन्होंने हमें ट्रांसफर किया है उसके बगैर हम शायद इतना ज्यादा चैलेंजेस को एड्रेस ना कर पाते. सो quite excited. Inshallah, it will be a mega event and a very successful event.
All right. Thank you so much, Umair, for a brief and thorough response, I should say. So, coming back to this theme and this annual event, Awais bhai and Bilal bhai and Zishan bhai, I'd like to have your opinion. I guess हमने बड़ा एक इंडस्ट्री की जैसे हम बात कर रहे थे, बड़ी मराजिल तय की हमने, काफी सारे अप्स एंड डाउन्स भी देखे. पाकिस्तान में आजकल खास तौर पे जिस तरह से गवर्नमेंट का फोकस है, एक डिजिटलाइजेशन, डिजिटल की वेव, जिसमें डेफिनेटली फिर एजाइल एक बड़ा कलीदी किरदार अदा करता है. आप एज अ पार्टनर, एज ए स्पॉन्सर या एज ए इंडस्ट्री लीडर्स इन पाकिस्तान कैसे देखते हैं ये पाकिस्तान एजाइल डेवलपमेंट सोसाइटी की इस एनुअल कॉन्फ्रेंस को? इसका क्या इम्पैक्ट है, इससे क्या हम हासिल करते हैं, और ये जो एक वेव है डिजिटलाइजेशन या एजिलिटी इन दी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, इसमें किस हद तक हमें हेल्प मिलती है? सो आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट अगेन विद द सेम ऑर्डर, अवैस भाई, इफ यू कैन शेड सम लाइट ऑन दैट, देन आई विल कम टू बिलाल साहब एंड जीशान साहब. सो ओवर टू यू, अवैस भाई. You're on mute probably, अवैस भाई.
अनम्यूट कर लें.
हाँ, मैंने कहा बैकग्राउंड जब कभी नॉइज आते ना म्यूट कर दिया था.
Yeah.
तो आई वाज सेइंग मिशन के आई एम वेरी वोकल अबाउट समथिंग कि मेरा एक आइडिया है या मेरा एक पैशन है कि द बिगेस्ट डिफरेंस बिटवीन एन अंडर डेवलप्ड कंट्री लाइक पाकिस्तान, और जब हम कंपेयर करते हैं उसको किसी वेस्टर्न कंट्री के साथ या वेस्टर्न एक कल्चर के साथ, तो दे डेवलप अ लॉट ऑफ कम्युनिटीज़. तो वो कोई भी काम करते हैं ना, उसके उन्हें कम्युनिटी डेवलप कर देते हैं. दैट कम्युनिटी कैन बी इन द फॉर्म ऑफ अ सोसाइटी जो आप लोग अब कर रहे हैं. दे डेवलप फ्रेमवर्क्स, तो चाहे एजाइल का फ्रेमवर्क हो, चाहे वो जितने भी स्टैंडर्ड्स हों ISO के, दे ऑलवेज कम फ्रॉम द वेस्टर्न वर्ल्ड. तो उसकी एक रीज़न ये होती है कि वी डोंट हैव एज अ स्पेशली एज अ पाकिस्तानी कम्युनिटी, हमारे पास कोई ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म नहीं है जिसमें लोग दे सिट टुगेदर, दे ब्रेनस्टॉर्म, दे शेयर आइडियाज, दे शेयर केस स्टडीज, and then they come up with something which can be given to the industry which is very much tailored to the Pakistani community. तो I would say कि ये चीज़ extremely important है. पाकिस्तान के पर्सपेक्टिव में अगर देखूं तो इन द लास्ट 1 or 2 years, स्पेशली दिस पर्टिकुलर ईयर 2020 जो अभी ख़त्म हुआ है, 2021 उसमें हम दाखिल हुए हैं, तो द साइज ऑफ इंडस्ट्री एक्सपोर्ट हैज़ ऑलमोस्ट मोर देन डबल्ड. तो जो ऑफिशियल फिगर्स हैं, अनऑफिशियली तो मेरे ख्याल से बहुत बिजनेस होता होगा, लेकिन जो ऑफिशियली जो एक्सपोर्ट बिजनेस ऑफर का दैट हैज़ गॉन ट्रिमेंडसली. तो जो फिजिकल ईयर 2019-20 में जो एक्सपोर्ट्स हुए थे, पिछले 6 महीने में तकरीबन उतनी एक्सपोर्ट की फिगर्स पहुंच चुकी है, और होपफुली अगले 6 महीने में बाय जून 30 तक वो फिगर काफ़ी आगे चली जाएगी. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट, द डोमेस्टिक software industry, the domestic industry also growing up. We belong to the payment sector. हम banks को देखते हैं, हम telcos को देखते हैं. So State Bank has been very open. They have come up with PSP, PSO. They have given up. They have come up with EMI regulations and all those things. उसके से हो रहा है कि a lot of software companies are giving uh, locally developed software to local industry. So they are not export-driven business. वो local software development कर रहे हैं for local industry with good मनी कमिंग इन फ्रॉम आउटसाइड पाकिस्तान. तो देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप आ रही है, बहुत सारे लोग पाकिस्तान के बाहर से इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं पाकिस्तानी कंपनीज के अंदर. उसके अलावा मेरे ख्याल से जो अगेन कमिंग फ्रॉम आवर बैकग्राउंड ऑन द बैंकिंग साइड, देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ डिजिटल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन गोइंग ऑन इन द बैंकिंग साइड. तो ज़्यादातर बैंक्स ने अपने एक डिजिटल बैंकिंग का डिपार्टमेंट खड़ा कर लिया गया, और उस डिपार्टमेंट को बैंक के बाकी ऑपरेशन अलग कर दिए गए, और वो प्योरली सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलप भी कर रहे हैं, सॉफ्टवेयर की क्यूए भी कर रहे हैं, सॉफ्टवेयर को रन भी कर रहे हैं, सॉफ्टवेयर को ऑपरेशनलाइज भी कर रहे हैं, चाहे वो जो भी लोकल उनका सेटअप होता है. तो आई थिंक विद दिस बैकग्राउंड, स्पेशली अगर हम लास्ट ईयर, क्योंकि मैं इस्लामाबाद में था फॉर द 6th एजाइल कॉन्फ्रेंस, इस्लामाबाद में कल से नवंबर में थी, तो उस वक्त भी उमैर से जब आइडिया आया था कि यार इसको कराची में लेकर आते हैं, बिकॉज कराची हैज़ huge number of software companies of multiple sizes, यानी कि छोटी कंपनीज भी हैं, एंड देन वी हैव कंपनीज लाइक सिस्टम्स एंड अदर कंपनीज जो कि पुरानी हैं और काफ़ी बड़ी बड़ी कंपनीज हैं. तो आई थिंक इस इवेंट का कराची में होने का फ़ायदा ये था कि मैं जब तक इस्लामाबाद में हो रहा था, तो कराची में सॉफ्टवेयर कंपनीज की इसकी जो विजिबिलिटी और अटेंडेंस है उतनी अच्छी नहीं होगी. इफ़ वी हैव दिस इवेंट इन कराची, सो आई वुड एक्सपेक्ट मोर एंड मोर कंपनीज specifically from Karachi coming in and joining and attending this event. But I would say that this event has to become more diverse. It has to focus away, or it has to be more inclusive in the form of कि यहाँ पे apart from software companies हमें शायद जो other sectors है, health care है, banking है, telcos हैं, जहाँ पे काफ़ी अब IT enabled services के ऊपर या IT सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपमेंट और IT एजाइल प्रोसेस पे काम हो रहा है, उनको यहाँ पे लाना पड़ेगा. मेरा सिर्फ इसमें जो एक फोकस होता है, मेरा इंटरेस्ट ये होता है कि as a community we are able to come up with processes which are tailor made for our needs and our culture and our society, because there are times when we have to follow processes जो किसी और ने बनाए होते हैं और उसको हम अपने आप को रेट्रोफिट कर रहे होते हैं, इसमें काफ़ी चैलेंजेस आते हैं. तो आई थिंक दिस इज़ एन एक्सट्रीमली इम्पॉर्टेंट प्लेटफॉर्म जिसमें नॉलेज शेयरिंग हो सकती है, जिसमें हो सकता है लोकली डेवलप कंटेंट हम लोगों से शेयर कर सकें. सो आई थिंक इन ऑल आई थिंक I have a lot of expectations of this society and this platform, and I hope when in the next 10 years we can look back and say, okay, we did a wonderful job and we have contributed towards the industry in maturing the kind of process that we have. मैं एक बात हमेशा कहता हूँ कि आप जब स्केल करते हैं तो if you don't have the right processes and tools along with you, scalability is not possible. आप 2 लोगों के साथ जो काम कर सकते हैं 10 लोगों के साथ, जैसे आप 500,000 लोगों पे जाते हैं, and if you don't have the right processes in place and you don't have the tools which execute those processes, so you will always struggle. So I think Agile is one thing which is very critical, and I think we have seen the benefits of this thing during the COVID. I think we will be able to share more during the conference as well. So this is from my side.
Perfect, G. Absolutely. I guess you are spot on this thing. So coming back to you, Bilal bhai, how do you see as a question that I requested कि बड़ा बूम है डिजिटलाइजेशन का, ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल एजिलिटी की बड़ी बात होती है, खासतौर पे गवर्नमेंट का भी बड़ा फोकस है. सो हाउ डू यू सी दिस कंट्रीब्यूशन फ्रॉम पाकिस्तान एजाइल डेवलपमेंट सोसाइटी through this annual conference ACP event? Is it helping the cause? How much it has created the impact? You being, I guess, the most senior one in terms of carrying the relationship with Pakistan Agile Development Society as a sponsor. कैसे देखते हैं सर आप, आपकी क्या राय है इस बारे में?
इसको अगर if we look at it in the perspective of Contour and our employees and how they do their work on a day-to-day basis, uh, the companies that Constellation acquires tend to be 25, 30 years, uh, you know, uh, worth of existence at the time when they get acquired. And most of them come with a good number of people who have been with the company for 20, 25, 30 years. They have immense industry domain knowledge and expertise around the enterprise product that they have been, developing, supporting, selling, maintaining, implementing. And more often than not, the bulk of that tends to be in their minds. There is, very little documentation. And one of the questions that, whenever one of these divisions are looking to engage with us and hire people at Contour, their question is, how are they going to work? We don't have any documentation. And that is where, a proper understanding not only of Agile and how you can work using Agile methodologies, but also um, how you need to be able to probe, ask questions, not uh, hold back, and be able to work with people who are not necessarily uh, with you for 8 or 9 hours because they may be sitting in a different time zone. And in Contour's perspective, उसकी और ज़्यादा जो एक difference आ जाता है कि Agile allows you to customize based on your necessities, your situation, your specificities. So the companies that make up Constellation have all operated 25, 30 years independently. They have certain cultural norms and ways that are embedded in those people that have been part of that company for a long time. And we allow them to, we don't look to intrude too much on that. And um, at the same time, we need to be able to share or gain some of that knowledge from them in order to be able to do our work. Now, if some of those businesses or business units are located on the Pacific coast with a 12-hour time difference with us, in the best of times and 13 hours time difference in the winter, और कुछ हैं जो कि उसका opposite है कि if you reach the office too late, New Zealand is already gone to sleep or gone home. So at times you have to, and you also have to balance it with the work-life balance you need to provide to your employees. In some cases, you're working for a European division, you could have 5-6 hours of overlap very easily, and that takes care of that. But in those other extremes, you need to use tools and customize your process uh, to still be able to maybe run an agile process, but based on the situation that's specific to your situation. So those are all great discussion points, and how you can utilize agile, how you can customize agile. जो वैस साहब ने बात की about the community, having a community of people where you can discuss, debate, share ideas, learn from, that is why it is essentially important to our way of doing things, and why we have always felt a need to be part of this.
Excellent जी. So I guess बड़े ज़्यादा लोग इस वक्त एक्साइटेड होंगे, स्पेशली फ्रॉम कराची. मैच बड़ा खासा मतलब कांटेदार सिचुएशन में है. कराची नीड्स 22 रन्स टू विन अगेंस्ट सोलर मुल्तान, and Babar Azam is anchoring the innings. Thanks for your detailed response, Bilal bhai. Now I would request the same from Zishan Aftab Saab. So how do you see, sir, this agility thing in the organization and the digitalization wave that's going around us in Pakistan, and how Pakistan Agile Development Society been able to contribute, and what do you expect from this annual conference happening in your city? You're on mute, sir. Can you unmute?
Ji,
Now you
thank
are
you.
audible.
Great. So I think we have to look at the perspective, the environment, and the background of this situation. Um, Last year, I mean, if you had this conference earlier, we would be just thinking about talking about agile and how it helps organizations improve and be efficient. But this year specifically, due to COVID, I think the mindset has completely shifted. I mean, people have been working from home for the last 1 year, and you know, this is something that not many people thought about. Many people thought that it is not possible to deliver services from home as like as you are delivering from office. And since we have done that, the future of work is very unpredictable. Many organizations across the globe are trying to come up with a solution with a to handle how they are going to work with people who have spent 1 year at home, and most of them are not willing to sort of come back to office. And even if they come to office, they would come back for 2 to 3 days a week. um, and I'm sure you've heard that many people have shifted to a suburb area, and the prices of suburb areas have gone up in certain countries, because people have sort of made up their mind that now everything would be work from home and things like that. So this conference is very important, and it's happening at a very critical time, because the future of work is not known. And many people, many organizations are dabbling with it, coming up with different theories, different practices. And to be honest, nobody knows the answer to that. Um, and if you look at, if you add one more one more variable in it, which is the Pakistani environment and the Pakistani mindset, the Pakistani employee, that sort of adds more spice to the equation. And the conditions that we have, many people, we all know that we don't have big houses. Many people live in a in an apartment where they don't have a secured space for to work from home. But yet they have spent 1 year from home, and they are not looking forward to come back to office. So this conference would be a great source to network, to interact, to sort of integrate people, and discuss ideas. How can we sort of make a shift of our mindsets, and do more with while working from home. What other Share the challenges that many organizations are facing, and how can we solve them at an industry level. So this is going to be very critical, and that's what I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thanks for your detailed response. So now I'd like to, before college going for the closing, I understand that you guys are already having a pretty busy schedule. So we have got a few comments. Thanks to the audience again who are regularly watching us, following us. So first of them is, I guess, Amna Rabab has sent some emoji. I can't see it in this comment. Then we have a query from Sidra Malik. I guess Tarif Arif. How companies are facing employees retention in COVID. And then I would come back to this question. I mean, just first let me read out all the question. तो कंबर अली साहब फरमाते हैं जी कि what are the takeaways for our sponsors from Agile conference? I guess that's we covered. And Sayyid Misam Ali कहते हैं जी, is top management of IT industry willing to adopt Agile in its true essence by empowering teams and negating bossy culture? I guess that's quite a spot on kind of a question that I guess the industry faces a lot of challenge on that. So स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम ज़ीशान साहब आई गेस पहले आपसे इब्तिदा करते हैं, ज़रा डिसेंडिंग ऑर्डर में चलते हैं। सो आप इन सवालात को कैसे देखते हैं सर? सिद्रा मलिक का सवाल कि जी कंपनीज़ ने कोविड के दौरान एम्प्लॉयी रिटेंशन को कैसे मैनेज किया, एंड देन कंबर साहब का सवाल कि इस कॉन्फ्रेंस से आपको क्या लगता है, क्या हासिल होगा? अगर ब्रीफली बता दें। एंड देन ये जो एजाइल के बारे में बात की कि हाउ द इंडस्ट्री is looking at it, especially when we talk about the self-managing team, the decentralized kind of structure, no bossy structure? Go ahead, sir.
Right. So first question, I think the entire industry is going through a phase where everybody is facing a attrition, a lot of attrition. The COVID has opened up several avenues for people for getting into software industry, and a lot of companies from abroad are hiring directly in Pakistan. Uh, there are many freelancing opportunities out there, and people are also moving abroad because is demanded here. So there is excessive pressure, and there is no single policy that would help you retain. It's just that you keep you have a good environment where people are learning, people are getting their a good payroll. They are given opportunities to grow. That's how you sort of retain people. There's no secret formula for that. Um, Apart from that, the sponsors, uh, I mean, there is no ROI for sponsorship. We've not sponsored this event for any specific gain. It's a community service. It's more of a sort of giving back to society so that we can build this community. And lastly, the IT industry is can only change when the customer changes. I keep saying that we have to change the mindset of the customer. Because if the customer is looking for a fixed price code, you cannot do agile development and deliver something. Because it takes more time and cost. So you have to change the mindset of the customer. And I keep saying that if you don't if the customer is not in accordance with your company values and policies, it's better not to take that customer. So that's how to train the customer. That's
Okay, so we got a few comments as well. Thank you, Sabine. She says that it's a great session. Thank you, Amna Rubab again. So, Bilal bhai, coming back to you with these questions, how do you see, sir? The first one is, if you want me to read, or you can continue.
A couple of them I think I remember. So
Yeah.
in terms of around how the environment has changed. In our case, because our employees were already working for and collaborating with colleagues located in such different time zones, so we had always, especially women employees, they always had the option that, okay, work 5-6 hours from the office, go home after dinner, connect remotely for your meetings with colleagues onshore. Or if you have any personal reasons due to which you want to work uh, from home a particular day during the week, so that option was always there, and it was always part of our culture. And the reason for that was because we were asking people to work these late, different hours. We could not be a 9 to 6 kind of entity, and all our people, you know, if you're reporting and working for a Sydney division, or for a Germany division, or for a Pacific Coast division, then they all had different time zones to work with. And so, because we were giving them that flexibility, uh, so now, as Zishan said, you don't really know how it's going to end up. But my guess would be that something of a hybrid, uh, which, okay, before maybe people were working from the office 4 days a week. In our case, maybe now it'll be 2 days, maybe 3 days. So, with that, of course, the question of bossy, that wouldn't come up, because, of course, we had always had a trust-based culture. And of course, when we've seen people operating even uh, 5 days a week from home, but as Uwais Sahab said, some of the people are going to find it easier to work from the office and are very, very eager to come back. Uh, for example, those of our employees who really want or need the childcare facility we have in the office, they have been after us to get it open again. And we were being cautious because of course, the second wave. So, we're trying to balance. About 20% of our staff are working from the offices on any given day. and they have it as an option. They are rotating through when they have more deadlines, and they don't want the pressure associated with it when they're working from home, and people expect them to be part of family. Whatever's happening with the family, they can come to the office and not have that pressure. And uh, but with the distancing and thinning, of course.
Okay. All right. So, congratulations, Karachi. You guys have won, beaten Multan. Always way. Coming back to these questions to you, how do you see, sir? I mean, the first one was, I guess, कंपनीज ने जैसे आपने पहले भी तस्करा किया कोविड का या और बड़े हार्ड टाइम्स देखे हैं क्या कैसे सरवाइव किया क्या किया एंड देन कंबर साहब का सवाल कि स्पॉन्सर्स को इसमें क्या नज़र आता है आरओआई रिलेटेड भी सवाल था और वो एजाइल का कि जी हमारी आईटी इंडस्ट्री में जहाँ थोड़ा सा बॉसी या वो एक बड़ा एक हार्ड कोर प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजर वाला और की अकाउंट मैनेजर वाला और ये सारे रोल्स होते हैं तो उसमें how do you see this fitting in our industry?
I think I would start with this employee retention because I read this question very differently. Because when this COVID started, so there was a lot of uncertainty that will companies be able uh, to sustain the 6 months or next 1 month period. So there was an uncertainty here. If we have an employee base of like 500 or 1,000, do we need to cut the employee base just to make sure that whether we'll be able to survive? Because nobody was certain about the revenue they're going to achieve in next 6 or 12 months. So there was a little uncertainty, and there were talks about companies, and actually companies did that. They were able to reduce their headcount. Some companies actually reduce their compensation or maybe change their compensation planning as well. But I think when we went into COVID, something very opposite happened. And that happened is that the amount of business that was coming into Pakistan, especially for the tech sector, especially software companies, actually grew enormously. And what happened indirectly is that the salaries of the employees have also gone up. So there are a lot of companies who are coming in and who are paying in dollars and something like that. So eventually, I think that the employees or the workforce that is working in the software companies have actually benefited from COVID because it has actually helped them to increase their salary and pay scale. I'm not sure about every company, but I think most of the companies are facing this in terms of that the existing companies have actually have to increase the compensation as compared to decreasing the compensation that was thought of in the wake of COVID. But I think I would agree with Ishan. I can give you an example that we have TPS has those awards, and I think most of the companies have those awards of 5-year association, 10 years of association, and 15 years of association. We also have an award for 20 years of association. I think the number of people who are now completing their 5 years is significantly reducing over time. There used to be a time when people easily used to complete 5 years and 10 years their TPS, and then they would go to some other industry and they move to like, either Canada or Australia or maybe some other field for immigration once they had that experience. But today, I think we find it very difficult to retain an individual for 5 or more years. And I think the only thing that can help the companies to retain or maybe to sustain in this kind of environment is to have a very good training plan. So a person who enters into your company should be able to learn the domain, the technology, the process within a couple of weeks and months, and then he should be able to be productive rather than leaning on a very old employee to do that. So what we did in 2020, 29 and 20, that we launched an internal e-learning portal by the name of Edison. And what we did is that we captured the entire domain and the technology and everything into that e-learning portal. So generally, the training that was required to be given physically in terms of classroom or through one-to-one trainings, that has been completely moved over to an online platform. And I think we were actually very fortunate to take that step on a very timely basis, because once COVID had started, we locked down our office in March 2020, and there was no office after that. And I think a lot of people, I would say around 100, more than 100 people have joined in the TGP in the last 12 months. They have been able to be trained partially. I would not say completely, but they have been partially trained through that platform, and that is actually helping us to train. So long-term retention is a challenge because people want People want better salaries. That is difficult to continue to do for any business. People will eventually move out. So I think apart from keeping up with the compensation and the culture and the perks and all those things, you also need to have a framework where you can quickly train people and make them productive as soon as possible. Coming to the ROI part, I think ROI there can be no numbers for sponsorship. You cannot say in terms of numbers, in terms of, so it can be for us. I think it's more of passion. We sponsor every event in every university, be it FAST, be it Karachi University, be it NED, be it Zabis. So we participate in a lot of events, whether they are speed programming, where they are the annual events, whether they are the tech events or anything. We also participate in the Google event that takes place every year. So I think for a software company, we have debated a lot with our founders, and we thought that like the FMCGs and all those sectors, there's a concept of CSR. So they invest, they put a lot of money on CSRs for. So for us, this is more of a CSR to help the community and to help the society develop something, and we are happy to contribute through our resources and through our financials as well in helping that. So I think the ROI would come, specifically if you talk about this platform, it would come in next 4, 5, 6 years, and it may come in the form of some kind of standards, knowledge sharing, case study, something like that. It won't be in the form of direct ROI for the sponsors. For the last part, I think of the bossy culture, I don't think the software companies have any bossy culture. I don't. I haven't come across any software company, because normally the people who are leading the software companies are are in mid 30s, in mid 40s. They are touching 40s. They are around about that. So you would generally find very young executives, and those young executives don't have that mindset and that culture of bossing around. So there's a lot of empowerment that comes in the software companies. There's a lot of freedom that comes in, and I think we believe that a lot of people who are below us are far more knowledgeable in terms of technology, in terms of tools, in terms of things work, as compared to the management of the company. So I think we have to be very open. We have to be very, I would say, we have to give empowerment to all those individuals, and we have seen the benefit of that. It is next to impossible to boss these knowledge workers. They actually won't be able to digest that. They won't be able to understand that, because I think if we talk about TPS, majority of the company, majority of the workforce that we have is around 25 years of age. So you'll find a lot of people between 20 to 30, and if you try to boss them around, they won't be able to work for you. They want freedom, they want empowerment, they want to do things on their own. You have to just give them boundaries, you have to give them the guidelines, and they'll be able to give you the benefit of that. So I truly don't think that any of the software company that I have known has any bossy culture, and I think that bossy culture will never work in our industry. You may talk about which will require very swift processes, very demanding managers. But I think the only demand that we have from our teams is output. So we want results, and we want results in a certain way. And the output and the teams actually decide for themselves how they work. They choose the tools, they choose the process, and they give us the output. So I'm not sure about the query that is there. So whether it is agile or whether it is the waterfall method, in both ways, I don't think software companies have very bossy nature, just because they have very young executives looking after the entire company.
All right. Thank you, Ji. Thanks for your detailed response. And now, Mr. उमैर खालिद खासी खामोशी आपने इख्तियार की, मेरे ख्याल में अब आपको भी बुलवाया जाए। सो जो आप कह रहे थे कि आज आप अपने इस शो को जो है वो होस्ट करना चाहते थे, तो हाउ अबाउट आई गो टू द बैक स्टेज और आप ज़रा ये आखिरी जो क्लोजिंग कमेंट्स हैं, इस पे ज़रा अपने भी इज़हार राय करें, और हमारे जो ऑनरेबल गेस्ट हैं उनसे भी ज़रा इनके इस राय जानी, और फिर इस शो के अख्ताम की तरफ बढ़ते हैं। सो आई एम हैंडिंग ओवर दी वर्चुअल फ्लोर टू यू उमैर साहब। द शो इज़ योर्स नाउ।
थैंक यू मेसम। सबसे पहले तो लाइटर नोट पे मैं एक बात ये कहना चाहूँगा कि कराची के फ्लैगशिप इवेंट के इंट्रोडक्शन के दौरान कराची की एक बहुत अच्छी विन जो है मेरे ख्याल से बड़ा अच्छा शगुन है। So without being superstitious, I think there is a good reason why I think this event will be successful. अच्छा, हमने इसके सक्सेस का क्राइटेरिया ये डिफाइन नहीं किया कि इसके अंदर हमारे पास कितने लोग जमा हो जाते हैं, कितने स्पीकर्स आ जाते हैं, या हमारे पास कितने ऑनलाइन व्यूअर्स इसमें हो जाते हैं। आई थिंक इट्स गोइंग टू बी द स्टार्ट ऑफ एन एरा जहां पर हम राइट क्वेश्चंस करना शुरू करें, क्योंकि जब हम फ्यूचर की बात करते हैं तो बहुत सारे चैलेंजेस ऐसे हैं जो बीइंग मैनेजमेंट साइंस स्कॉलर माई सेल्फ आई कैन रियलाइज के आपको इवन 5 साल या 10 साल पुराने रिसर्च जर्नल्स और रिसर्च पेपर्स में भी उसके आंसर्स नहीं मिलेंगे। सो इट्स द हाई टाइम कि हम राइट क्वेश्चंस करना शुरू करें, कि अगर मैं एक यूनिवर्सिटी को रन कर रहा हूँ या मैं किसी एक मैनेजमेंट पोजीशन पर हूँ, तो what kind of changes I should be bringing जो कि फ्यूचरिस्टिक हो और फ्यूचर के अंदर सक्सेस के लिए जरूरी हो। बीइंग एन इंडिविजुअल माई सेल्फ, मुझे अपने स्किल सेट में किस तरह की इंप्रूवमेंट करने की जरूरत है। तो इस तरह के चेंजेस हैं, जैसे बीइंग ए मैनेजर आई शुड नो कि लोग क्या वर्क फ्रॉम होम को प्रेफर करते हैं या वर्क फ्रॉम ऑफिस को प्रेफर करते हैं, या फिर देयर इज अ डिवाइडेड प्रेफरेंस, और अगर ये डिवाइडेड प्रेफरेंस है तो मुझे इसको किस तरह से मैनेज करना है। सो दीज आर द challenges that are very unique to the era itself. तो मेरे ख्याल से the conference itself is about only bringing the right people together who can take a lead, और वो फिर इन questions के answers ढूंढने की कोशिश करें in the local context, in the पाकिस्तानी context. अगर हम बात करते हैं एजिलिटी की, कि एजिलिटी के अंदर कभी भी रिस्ट्रिक्शन नहीं हुई कि किसी इंडस्ट्री के अंदर ये इम्प्लीमेंट हो सकती है, बट व्हेन वी गो ऑन ग्राउंड तो हमें नजर आता है कि इसके अंदर आईटी इंडस्ट्री आपको लीड लेती हुई नजर आती है। 90-95% आपको आईटी इंडस्ट्री नजर आती है। अगर आपको इसके अंदर दूसरी इंडस्ट्रीज नजर नहीं आ रही, या फिर आपको इसके अंदर लार्ज बैंक्स नजर नहीं आ रहे, आपको इसके अंदर जैसे वैसे साहब ने कहा कि हेल्थ केयर की इंडस्ट्री नजर नहीं आ रही, तो वी हैव टू आस्क आवरसेल्व्स कि हम उनको क्यों नहीं इंगेज कर पा रहे। So this will be the forum, this will be the starting where we will bring the people together and they will debate on it and they will think about it कि हमें जो move forward करना है, उसके लिए हमें क्या strategy, क्या approaches लेनी है, and the community, the society will bring them together and will provide them the right platform जहाँ पर हम ये एक right direction ले सकें. So this is my success criteria, my vision कि जहाँ पर हम ये सारी चीजें इनका just एक start ले सकें. Despite the fact that I am very excited about the event itself, but it will not be the end goal. It will just be a start. So on this note, I would like to invite all my respected guests to share their closing notes, closing remarks before we go. I think we have spent a good enough time. और लेकिन यह है कि इस टाइम का बिल्कुल मालूम इसलिए नहीं हुआ क्योंकि there is so much productive and constructive things that are being shared. So over to Zishan sir first, if he can share his closing thoughts, and then we can.
So thank you, Matt. I think it was a great experience to be here and share the knowledge that we all are looking forward to. I think the event on next Saturday is going to be a great event, and I also have a talk about Agile leadership there. I'm looking forward to be part of it and speak to the young leaders. Thank you.
Bilal sir, if you would like to share your closing thoughts, please.
So we have, at least over the past 3 years, been very consistently a big part of the Agile conference up in the north, and many of our Karachi colleagues would travel up to also take in the mountains or the foothills of the mountains with the conference. And inshallah, I encourage our northern Conturians to go the other way this year and enjoy the sea, as well as hopefully catch a PSL match after the conference. So we look forward to seeing you all in Karachi.
जी बिल्कुल, पीएसएल की अपडेट्स भी इंशाल्लाह मैच के दौरान, क्योंकि इट्स पाकिस्तान एजाइल डेवलपमेंट सोसाइटी एजाइल कॉन्फ्रेंस ऑफ पाकिस्तान, सो वी विल बी शेयरिंग एनीथिंग दैट पाकिस्तानीज हैव द पैशन अबाउट. तो पीएसएल की अपडेट्स भी इंशाल्लाह आपको कॉन्फ्रेंस के दौरान मिलती रहेंगी. सो ओवर टू उवैस साहब, if you would like to share.
I think we are taking the torch for this year from Islamabad team. And I think I must appreciate and thank the Islamabad team for holding this event for the last 6 years. And I'm sure that event must have grown from a few people and a very small audience in the first year to a very large audience that we had last year. And hopefully, I think in Karachi we'll be able to have the right amount of people and available to attend this thing. So I think we are just sowing the seeds of a community in Pakistan and in Karachi, and hopefully we have to turn this seed into a tree where a lot of people can benefit from this tree. And I think hopefully we'll be able we can look back from 10 years ahead. When we look back, we'll see that whatever we have done is to our satisfaction, and something that is incredible for the industry, not only for the software companies, but across the industries, we are able to create some marks. So I think these are initial days, but again, I say I'm very hopeful about the potential of this platform.
Thank you. So finally, I would like to again thank all of you to spare your time on the weekend, और इतने सारे engaged लोगों को, इतने ज़्यादा busy लोगों को एक साथ एक वक्त में engage करना, I think it talks a lot about your passion for the event itself and for contributing towards the community and its goals. So इसके अलावा बाकी जो sponsors जो आज हमें join नहीं कर सके and they will be joining us on the event day, उनको भी मैं बहुत ज़्यादा इसमें शुक्रिया कहना चाहूँगा. और मेरे ख्याल से ऑडियंस को भी मैं ये कहना चाहूँगा कि there are a lot of key takeaways from this conference, and do join the event if you have registered, and if you have not registered yet, there are few seats left, so you should confirm your seat as soon as possible, and all the best for the successful event. Signing off for now. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.
Okay, Allah Hafiz. Thank you.
Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.